Random House Audio presents The Man of My Dreams by Curtis Sittenfeld. Read for you by Anne Heche. June 1991. Julia Roberts is getting married. It's true. Her dress will be an $8,000 custom-made two-piece gown from the Tyler Trafficante West Hollywood salon. And at the reception following the ceremony, she'll be able to pull off the train and the long part of the skirt to dance. The bridesmaids' dresses will be seafoam green, and their shoes, Manolo Blahnik, $425 a pair, will be dyed to match. The cake will be four-tiered, with violets and seafoam ribbons of icing. "What I want to know is where's our invitation?" Elizabeth says. "Did it get lost in the mail?" Elizabeth, Hannah's aunt, is standing by the bed folding laundry, while Hannah sits on the floor, reading aloud from the magazine. "And who's her fiancé again?" "Kiefer Sutherland," Hannah says. "They met on the set of Flatliners." "Is he cute?" "He's okay." Actually, he is cute. He has blonde stubble and, even better, one blue eye and one green eye. But Hannah is reluctant to reveal her taste. Maybe it's bad. "Let's see him," Elizabeth says, and Hannah holds up the magazine. Elizabeth says. "He's adequate." This makes Hannah think of Dara. Hannah arrived in Pittsburgh a week ago. Well, Dara, he is Elizabeth's husband, Hannah's uncle, was on the road. The evening Dara got home, after Hannah set the table for dinner and prepared the salad, Dara said, "You must stay with us forever, Hannah." Also that night, Dara yelled from the second-floor bathroom, "Elizabeth, this place is a bloody disaster. Hannah will think we're barn animals." He proceeded to get on his knees and start scrubbing. Yes, the tub was grimy, but Hannah couldn't believe it. She has never seen her own father wipe a counter, change a sheet, or take out the trash. And here was Dara on the floor after he'd just returned from 17 hours of driving. But the thing about Dara is, he's ugly. He's really ugly. His teeth are brownish and angled in all directions, and he has wild eyebrows, long and wiry, as wayward as his teeth, and he has a tiny ponytail. He's tall and lanky, and his accent is nice. He's from Ireland, but still. If Elizabeth considers Kiefer Sutherland only adequate, what does she think of her own husband? "You know what let's do?" Elizabeth says. "Let's have a party for Julia. Wedding cake, cucumber sandwiches with the crust cut off. We'll toast to her happiness. Sparkling cider for all." Hannah watches Elizabeth. "What?" Elizabeth says. "You don't like the idea? I know Julia herself won't show up." "Oh," Hannah says. "Okay." When Elizabeth laughs, she opens her mouth so wide that the fillings in her molars are visible. "Hannah," she says, "I'm not nuts. I realize a celebrity won't come to my house just because I invited her." "I didn't think that," Hannah says. "I knew what you meant." But this is not entirely true. Hannah cannot completely read her aunt. Elizabeth has always been a presence in Hannah's life. Hannah has a memory of herself at age 6, riding in the back seat of Elizabeth's car as Elizabeth sang "You're So Vain" quite loudly and enthusiastically along with the radio. But for the most part, Elizabeth has been a distant presence. Though Hannah's father and Elizabeth are each other's only siblings, their two families have not gotten together in years. Staying now in Elizabeth's house, Hannah realizes how little she knows of her aunt. The primary information she has always associated with Elizabeth was acquired so long ago she cannot even remember learning it. That once, soon after Elizabeth became a nurse, a patient left her a great deal of money, and Elizabeth squandered it. She spent it on an enormous party, though there was no occasion, not even her birthday. And she's been struggling to make ends meet ever since. It didn't help, financially speaking, that Elizabeth married a truck driver. The Irish hippie, as Hannah's father calls him. When she was 9, Hannah asked her mother what hippie meant, and her mother said, "It's someone fond of the counterculture." When Hannah asked her sister, Allison is 3 years older, she said, It means Dara doesn't take showers, which Hannah has observed to be untrue. Would we have our party before or after the wedding? Hannah asks. She gets married on June 14th. Then, imagining it must appear on the invitations like this, all spelled out in swirly writing, she adds, 1991. Why not on the 14th? Dara can be my date if he's here, and Rory can be yours. Hannah feels a stab of disappointment. Of course her date will be her 8-year-old retarded cousin. But what did Hannah think Elizabeth was going to say? Your date will be the 16-year-old son of one of my co-workers. He is very handsome, and he'll like you immediately. Sure, Hannah expected that. She always thinks a boy for her to love will fall from the sky. So what's our plan? Elizabeth says. Dara and Rory shouldn't be back from errands for at least an hour. I'm taking suggestions. We could go for a walk, Hannah says. I don't know. She glances out the living room window, which overlooks the front yard. The truth is that Hannah finds the neighborhood creepy. Where her family lives, outside Philadelphia, the houses are separated by wide lawns. The driveways are long and curved, and the front doors are flanked by Doric columns. Here, there are no front porches, only stoops flecked with mica. And when you sit outside, the last few nights, Hannah and Elizabeth have gone out there while Rory tried to catch fireflies. You can hear the televisions in other houses. A walk's not a bad idea, Elizabeth says. Except it's so damn hot. Let's get ice cream. But don't bring the magazine. She grins at Hannah. I don't know how much more celebrity happiness I can take. Hannah was shipped to Pittsburgh. She was sent away, put on a Greyhound, though Allison got to stay in Philadelphia with their mother because of exams. Hannah thinks she should still be in Philadelphia for the same reason, because of exams. But Hannah is in 8th grade, whereas Allison is a high school junior, which apparently means that her exams matter more. Also, Hannah is viewed by their parents as not just younger, but less even-keeled, and therefore potentially inconvenient. So Hannah's school year isn't even finished, but she is here with Elizabeth and Dara indefinitely. According to the letter signed by Dr. William Tucker and hand-delivered by her mother to the principal's office, Hannah has mononucleosis, and the family has requested that she be allowed to make up her coursework later in the summer. This is a lie. Dr. William Tucker does not exist, but was concocted by Hannah's mother and Hannah's Aunt Polly, her mother's sister. It is with Polly's family that Hannah's mother and Allison have been staying for the last 10 days. Hannah does not have mono. She is missing school because one night her father exiled her and her mother and Allison from the house. This was, obviously, somewhat insane. But it wasn't more insane or cruel than other things he's done, which is not to say that he's insane or cruel all the time. He's himself. He can be perfectly pleasant. He's the weather system they live with, and all of their behavior, whenever he is around, hinges on his mood. Don't the three of them understand that living with him simply is what it is? To complain or resist would be as useless as complaining about or resisting a tornado. This is why her mother's current refusal to return home bewilders Hannah most, and why it's her mother as much as her father whom Hannah faults for the upheaval. Since when has her mother stood up for herself? She is no longer playing by the family rules. Hannah turns off the television. Having it on in the daytime reminds her of being sick, and picks up the magazine from the day before. She is in the house alone. Elizabeth is at work, and Rory is at school, and Dara, who is leaving for another run tomorrow, is at the hardware store. It is a little after 1 o'clock, and she ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich an hour ago, but she starts thinking of food she knows to be in the kitchen. Dara's vegetarian enchiladas left over from last night, chocolate chip ice cream. She is gaining weight, which is something she'd been doing prior to her arrival in Pittsburgh. Since the beginning of 8th grade, she has gained 11 pounds. She now has hips, and the bra she wears is a displeasing and once unimaginable 36C. Also, abruptly...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?